What's up, everyone? Thank you for checking out this episode of Raised Geek. This week, we wrap up our conversation on Succession as we discuss the series finale and the last couple of episodes that led up to it, as well as our overall thoughts of the series as a whole. So let's get into it. I'm Chris, and as always, I'm here with my buddy Don. How we doing, man?
Chris, what is up today, my friend? We are doing good on this
Like
Saturday
Venom.
evening.
We are good.
We are good. We are Venom.
We are
Oh shit.
Venom.
I wish why did they have to make that movie into like a stupid buddy cop? Why couldn't it be more serious?
Did you ever watch the Carnage, We Are Carnage, or
Nope,
Here Comes the Carnage?
never did.
What was that called?
Here comes the carn. See, now that you said that, I can't get it out of my head.
I'll look it up.
Uh
You can keep talking. How you doing, man?
I'm good. I'm doing okay. Just relaxing on this Saturday evening,
Let there
pre-vacation. Let there be
pre-vacation.
carnage.
Let there
Thank
be
you.
carnage. Yes.
Exactly. I had more fun with like the Carnage Super Nintendo games that we played, like Maximum Carnage, and there was some other one too.
Separation anxiety.
Separation Anxiety, where
That's
you
the
were
one
fighting
you and
all
I
the
played
other.
the shit
Yeah,
out of.
yeah.
Do we ever beat
Now,
it?
I don't know, because I don't remember ever fighting Venom. I remember fighting all the other symbiotes. You know, he's got like the sisters and the
Yeah.
brother, and like there's these lesser symbiotes, but I don't know if we ever got to Carnage. I think it was because Super Nintendo days, man, you couldn't save. It was like if you're gonna beat a game, you gotta sit down, start from the beginning, and play it all the way through. So it was like we never won, we never beat it. It was like you play for a couple hours and you get bored. And the next time you want to play, you're just starting from the beginning again.
Pretty
Uh,
much.
I think we had a system though. I don't know because you could be Venom and Spider-Man.
Yeah.
I think one of us was always Spider-Man and one of us was always Venom. Do you remember which was which? Who
I have
you always?
a feeling I was always Venom.
I think I was Spider-Man too. I don't know why. Just like that's the guy. That was our guys. Whatever.
Yeah.
Uh,
This is a fitting opening conversation that we did not plan because we were going to talk about this week and being the release of Spider-Verse. This is a Spider-Man weekend. We got footage of the I know release date for the Spider-Man 2 video game on PlayStation. It is
mhm.
Into the Spider-Verse or Enter the Spider-Verse.
Across the
Let
Spider-Verse.
Let There Be Spider-Verse. Across the Spider-Verse came out this
Yeah.
weekend, is now playing in theaters and is making a shit ton of money. I think
Mhm.
it's projected to make $120 million this weekend and be like the highest grossing animated film of all time, and which Mario Brothers just
I was
took
gonna
that
say.
title.
I was gonna say it snatched that out of Mario. Mario had that title for what, a couple months, a
Yeah,
month.
yeah,
Uh, but I mean, they had to expect it. I mean, you knew this movie was going to make a ton of money. It won the first one won Oscars. Just the word of mouth of it, how unique it is, and just like the uniqueness of the animation and the story's good, and the voice acting and the action of that first one is top notch. I plan to watch it again before I go see this second film, which
yeah.
we haven't seen yet. We both plan to here really soon. Stay tuned. Probably our next episode will be about that. Um,
Yes.
but yeah, I like seeing Spider-Man, Spider-Verse getting its flowers.
Yeah, it's been a while because it almost seems like that sequel took a minute
Right.
to get
Yeah.
here. You know, it's
It's been a few years for sure.
because it came out before pandemic, didn't it?
Yeah, man. And but I mean, you got to imagine how long do you think that movie's got to take a lot of manpower and a lot of hours to make. Just everything is so meticulous and like
Yeah, the
I'm
stylized.
the credits on that movie got to run for freaking 15 minutes with how many people it takes to make that damn film.
I can
Uh,
imagine.
you know, but I'm excited for it. You are too, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. Like I said, I would be probably more excited if I could watch it at home, just because then I wouldn't have to go anywhere. But
Sure. That's how
having to
we
go
are.
to the theater sometimes is just an exhausting thought. But I'll get
I get
over
it.
it. I'll get over it for Spider Verse and
Yep.
make it work. So I'll see it at some point this week. You're about to hit on vacation, which is awesome. So we're trying to sneak in this little Succession talk.
Yeah. We
But
have to. I mean, we got to talk about it.
got to.
We've had two episodes about Succession, one of our favorite shows. Talking about first few episodes, and we did a batch in the middle. We got to talk about this ending, man. We can't be done with this show till we get our thoughts out on how this show. It's over, man. It's done. One of the
And you
great
had
shows of our time.
an even rougher weekend because Barry ended as well the same
Oh,
night.
I know. That was a big night. That doesn't happen very often. Like,
Never. I've never seen two
yeah,
shows end at the same night.
especially like back to back. So it's
Yeah.
like that Sunday, I'm sitting there, I watched Succession, that rattled my soul. And then I was like, okay, now I got to prepare my mind for Barry, like, and another show, like,
Yeah.
of very high quality and has been very good over the years. And like, they're both gone in the same night. That never happens. I love when HBO does pair two shows that I like.
Yeah.
They used to do that a lot. You'd have like your prestige hour show and then another show come on like after it that I want to watch too. I love when they do that. So this
Yep.
pairing of Succession and Barry for these past 8 weeks has been fantastic. But yeah, they're both over forever. Um, I'll let you get through Barry. I know you kind of started it, and then we can
Yeah.
talk about it
I'm in
after that.
season
But
two, so I don't think it would take too long for me to do it. It's just a matter of doing it.
oh yeah, they're little half hour, 8 episode seasons. So
Yeah, I think I watched season one in like 2 days.
mhm,
And I think that was probably part of my downfall.
sure.
'Cause then I was like, I sat there for 2 days watching Barry, and then I was like, all right, what else is there?
Yeah, I get you.
So it's real easy to do that. But
We'll get to Barry. We're here to talk about
Succession.
Succession.
Well,
Uh-huh.
let's talk about Succession, man.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Succession. And I mean, now we're obviously a week removed from the series finale.
Hmm.
I think we need to at least start with just to set the tone for this conversation before we talk about the show as an overarching whole. What do you think of the finale, man? Series finales can be divisive. Some people love them, some people hate them. We're now a week removed from it, which does help. Sometimes you might initially be like, oh my God, and now you spent a week processing a little bit or 6 days. So, how do you feel? How does the finale make you feel today?
And obviously, spoilers. Spoilers out for everybody listening here. Please, if you're a Succession watcher and you haven't somehow in the last week already watched this, I'm sure you all have. If you're listening to this, I'm sure you did watch it. But if you somehow by some chance didn't, go watch it before we talk about it. Um, with that being said, I thought the finale was fantastic. Um, at first, we had a little initial talk, me and you. I think the night a little texting back and forth about it. You
Yeah,
told me you adored the finale,
I did
and I
adore the
said,
finale.
oh, we might differ in some opinions because at the time, some of the avenues they took to get to the end kind of
Hmm.
were irked me a little bit.
Yeah.
But the more I thought about it, the more I was able to sit with it. I was like, you know what? It couldn't have been any other way. Where they were going to get to. Now, do I have a couple quibbles with how they got there? Maybe a little bit, but
Hmm.
at the end of the day, I thought, they finished the story in a great way, tied up like all the loose ends. Really, there's no questions left unanswered for the most part. I mean, that's always the biggest worry with season or series finales. Um, Acting was great. It was in like it was a smaller scale. It wasn't these huge sets. Like sometimes they have huge parties with hundreds of people. This is like, you know, based all at Waystar and in the boardroom and some happy scenes at
They
their
were in
mother's house.
Barbados for a while.
Right. They were, yeah, but it was still just like the core,
Yeah.
it was the family and Tom and Greg, not just, sometimes they're around hundreds of people, like the election night episode where there's
Right.
people in every freaking corner.
Yeah.
Uh,
Logan's funeral.
Logan's funeral. Every person who's ever been on the show was on that episode.
Yeah.
But they kind of kept it more intimate for this one and let you see the characters that we've grown to love, the Roy family. I don't know, man. I thought it was really good. Um, like you said, series finales can miss a mark sometimes, but I don't think this one really did. Uh, so big fan. How about you?
Yeah, as you said, I adored it. That was I had so much fun watching this 90-minute like feature length episode. I just everything that they did, just I bought it. I had a smile on my face the whole time. Everything that they did when they were going through the stages with the kids and they were like they were crowning Logan and you saw the three of them like together and which are always the best scenes whenever they're all getting along and they're acting like kids and doing all that stuff, those are always great. And to see all that and you're just they're on the same page. Kendall's going to be anointed. He's the chosen one. I was like, yeah, man, they're going to go in there and they're going to do this, screw those guys and they're going to screw this deal and they're going to do that, and I was like, hell yeah. then when it all fell apart like it always does, I was like, you know what? Yep, that had to happen. Like
Like
I don't
this is true Succession fashion. Like it had
yeah,
to happen
it
this
had
way.
to happen. I'm like, nope, that makes sense. I was like,
Yeah.
I was fully bought in, and they totally had me. That like, okay, Kendall's gonna take over. They're gonna blow this deal. I should have been thinking like, wait, no, it's too early in the episode for like everything to go perfectly. Plus, it's Succession, so it shouldn't. But I was still sitting there, just I was bought. They had me, and that happens. It just doesn't happen very often. Usually, I'm always like, oh, I saw that coming.
Mhm.
And this time I was just in for the ride, which just doesn't happen that often for me. And so I just had a good time. And when stuff happened, it surprised me, it got me, and it all made sense. Like I just bought it. Everything worked for me in this episode.
Well, since we are talking about that ending, we might as well just get into it now while it's like fresh in my mind so I can explain like what I may have taken some issue with and then have thought about again. And now I'm kind of like back and forth. So maybe you can help me through this, like talk me through it. Um, like you said, there in the beginning of the episode, Kendall and the kids, the other two, Shiv and Roman, they all begrudgingly decided, Roman and Shiv, that Kendall has convinced us it can only be one of us. It looks better if it's just one. It can't be like three CEOs. It's got to be one. Who should wear the crown? Kendall gave his argument. It's got to be me. I'm made for this, blah, blah, blah. And they kind of went along with it and they all were getting along. Like we said, that was a beautiful scene. Love to see the kids getting along because it's
Feast for a
rare.
king. Feast for a king.
Right. I listened to the official podcast with Jeremy Strong as a guest, and he told the podcast host that he really drank that. Everything they put in there, he like really drank it, including Sarah Snook's spit, which was like, what? You really are a character actor, aren't you? You're like,
Yeah, he's
you got to be all in. Um, but anyway, where was it? What was I saying? Oh yeah, okay. So
sorry.
no. Feast for a King is a thing that happened.
Mm,
Um, so they're all in on Kendall, and then
yeah.
we get to the end, and Shiv changed her mind in the boardroom. She was the deciding vote. It was
Yep.
like 6-4, six against. Shiv is the deciding vote. She had to excuse herself from the room and said she needed a minute. Of course, Kendall goes chasing after her. Roman's not far behind, and that's when they have this big, intense scene, like one of the most intense scenes this show has ever had. Um, where basically Shiv changes her mind just on the spot, says, no, it can't be you because I don't think you'd be good at it. And this is basically like takes Kendall by surprise and like basically like kicks his feet out from under him. He's screaming at her like, this is disgusting. This is terrible. You can't do this to me. And like at the time, I was very confused as to just like why
Mm-hmm.
Shiv did this because it seemed like it kind of came out of left field, but I should have just seen that that's the kind of just relationship they've always had, all of them have had with each other. Like they love each other, but they also don't at the same time. You know what I mean? She kind of even said, I love you, Ken, but I can't stomach you.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're just all disgusting people. And Kendall is at times. He's done terrible things. He's done terrible things this season. Shiv has too. She's not innocent, but it's like I didn't understand at the time. And I don't know. I said in the previous episode, like I was rooting for Kendall, but the more I think about it, like, you know what? He is a dick. He sucks, actually, a lot. So I honestly don't care that he didn't get it. I don't think any of them should have got it, and none of them did.
Yep.
So it kind of made sense to me more at the end, but at the moment I was having trouble understanding why she would do that. Maybe it was because she found out Tom was going to get it, so she knew she had a path either way. Like either my husband's going to get it or my brother's going to get it. Like one way or another, I'm good. So
Yeah.
maybe I should just choose the lesser evil. Like maybe Tom is the lesser evil than Kendall, or Matson, even though he's disgusting, is like the lesser evil than Kendall. Maybe he'll be like the Mad King and destroy this entire thing. So I
Yeah.
don't know.
Well, I think that was her path. I mean, she was already trying to get in through Matson and was trying to make herself be the CEO through
Right.
him as the American, the US CEO. So I think that was kind of her plan. It was then it fell apart, and then she found out it was going to be Tom and got mad and was like, "Fuck
Mhm.
this, fuck him," and I'm out of this. and it could, I think there's a portion of just like overreaction where, sometimes when you have that feeling where you're just like, yeah, man, let's go get them. And you're just like siding with people. And then you kind of wake up the next morning and you're like, what just happened? Like, I don't
Sure.
feel any of these feelings now, but in the moment I was pissed. So it's just one of those things. So I think that was a portion of it. And then, you know, and when Roman and Shiv had their private conversation leaving, when Kendall, they had him go out swimming and they said, let us talk. Both of them openly said he would be a disaster, but it's the only move we have and it makes sense. They understood what he was saying, but neither one of them were happy about it.
Right.
And they both knew he would be a disaster. Like, this won't work, but it's the only move that we have. And I think she just realized she had other moves and was just like, no, I don't have to do this, or I don't want to do it. Let's just take the money and get out. I mean, there could be a lot of other reasons, but yeah, with the ending shot with her and Tom together, kind of being king and queen a little bit,
Hmm.
uh, I can
Reluctantly.
reluctant king and queen,
Yeah.
but there's obviously a different kind of level to their relationship has changed a lot over the course of the season, and their power shifting and what they are. But depending on where they get in the future, there's a lot of teamwork that could be happening between
True.
them.
And I think Tom has now also reached a level where like we never saw him on this show for the entire 4 seasons. He always was under her and
Hmm.
like she always had the upper hand. I honestly think for the first time ever, like he has the upper hand now.
Hmm.
And like people can say, well, oh, Shiv will be pulling the strings on him if he's CEO. I don't think so. Not anymore. Like he's kind of, I feel like, stepped out of her shadow a little bit, and he always was subservient to her because Logan was
Hmm.
around and his boss. Well, there is no Logan anymore. Now it's Matson owns Waystar and Tom's CEO. Like, Shiv, you're my wife, and you can be the CEO's wife, I guess. But
Yeah.
I don't know.
So yeah, I mean, it can go either way. I could see it going either way. Um,
Right.
moving forward, and depending on where their if they're able to repair their relationship to a way in which they went back to the point where they kind of are on the same team, like they
Hmm.
had moments of that,
Yeah.
then I could see that. But I still think it's a better move for her to try to deal with Tom than Kendall.
Yeah. I
Kendall
mean,
was already trying to screw her
right.
since Logan died.
Yeah. It does make sense after I thought about it, but I was just like, man, that's cold. That's all Kendall wanted. And the person who blocked him from his entire future is his own sister. Like, whew, you guys are some fucked up siblings. Um,
Yeah,
I just want to say it while it's on top of my head. Like you were talking about that scene at the Barbados house where they were out in the water.
yeah.
You want to know what my toxic trait is with like these kind of things? Like when Kendall was out in the water and when they went swimming, I was like, which one of them is about to get eaten by a shark? Like, doesn't even make any sense. I was like, while Roman and Shiv were talking on the beach, I was waiting for them to turn around and just like Kendall be gone, like he fell in the water and drowned or something, and like that's how this show's gonna end. What's my problem? that wasn't ever
Right.
that was never gonna happen, but I was just waiting for like something's gonna happen in that dark water. I don't know.
I know there was a moment where like somewhere in there with like Tom, and especially when he was hitting some lows in this season and stuff, and I really thought Tom was gonna die. Like there were moments where I'm like, oh my god, is Tom gonna jump off this balcony? Oh my god, is he about to get
Right.
hit by a car? But I'm just
Yeah.
like, and I was genuinely nervous that they were gonna go that route. And I'm like,
Yeah.
oh my god, I hope they don't.
Mhm.
But then like I would be set up for it. And I'm like, no, this isn't that show. They're not
This
gonna
isn't
Tom's
this
not
isn't
jumping off the balcony.
this isn't Game of Thrones where people are
Yeah.
just dying all the
Yeah,
time.
I'm like, no, 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 they're not doing that. So, but I had that same feeling other times throughout this season, these last few episodes, where I'm like, oh my god, is they going to kill this person? But I'm like, wait, no,
They don't kill people except Logan in episode 3. But
yeah, but he was. I mean, you kind of knew he had to go at some point,
yeah.
and I
Yeah.
think that's what they were saying in the after the credits thing with Jesse Armstrong, the creator, when they were trying to figure out because they were originally always going to say this show needed to be 5 seasons. That was
Mhm.
already their roadmap. But then it sounded like they decided they were going to kill Logan when they were going to kill Logan. And then once they're writing these scripts after that, they're like, wait, no, we could just wrap this up now. And
Mhm.
I'm kind of glad that they did because if their plan was to always kill Logan there,
Yeah,
it,
how
a
much
whole other
further could you have
season
gone?
coming out of
Yeah.
that would be. I mean, I would watch a season 5 even from where we left off. Um,
Sure.
do a time jump and do some stuff. I mean, I would watch a season 5, but I don't need one.
Well, yeah. I mean, we can just predict what happens to each character. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. I think they were all in a good
Roman
place.
Roman's kind of free. That little smile on his face in the bar. I liked that. He's just kind
Yep.
of gonna go back to being filthy rich and doing whatever the hell he wants and manipulating people and being like a court jester and doesn't have the pressure of Waystar on his shoulders
Yep.
anymore. Shivs with Tom and they're gonna try to live their life. Will they marriage make it? Probably not, but maybe it will. They're having a kid. Who the hell knows? They're gonna be running Waystar and Kendall. I mean, I don't know what's gonna. Kendall's the one who's like, I don't know what's gonna happen to that dude. He seems pretty broken, but it kind of had to be this way, man. I don't think any of the kids could have gotten it and it been like a satisfying end. You know what I mean?
No, I
Kendall
do. I
Kendall
do.
gets crowned king and everyone's just standing around him and roll credits. How would that make you feel? I mean, it'd just kind of be like, really? Like after everything, after all the backstabbing and everything, he just
We're
gets
kind
it.
of yeah, we're just right back to where we started. We just
Right,
full circled it. We came back to Kendall being the
right,
successor. Like,
right.
no, I 100% agree with that. It was where I was always betting on cousin Greg. Tom,
That
I
would have
didn't
been
think about.
the
Tom was left field.
Tom was left field, and that was a uncomfortable conversation he had with Matson when he was kind of basically being like, you are just my puppet. You're my pain sponge or something he called him. Like everything bad that's gonna come my way, you have to be the shield for that. And oh yeah, also I want to have sex with your wife. That's why she's not gonna be CEO. Oh, am I making you uncomfortable? He's like, no, no, no.
Yeah,
I'm your guy. I'm your guy. I was sitting there like, ugh, so cringy, but Tom's got to do it. Like, it's just one of those crazy things, but that was super uncomfortable. But no, I didn't really see Tom coming either. Maybe I should have, maybe we
yeah.
should have, but I don't know. It's kind of fitting. I mean, he is good at his job. He's a workaholic. Um,
He loves
he can
money.
he loves money. He can do it. So, you know, Team Tom at the end of the day.
Team Tom, Tom and Shiv doing their thing, and Greg didn't get fired.
That too. He did finally stand up to Tom when he gave him that nice little slap. I liked that.
Oh,
Like
that little
that
slap fight in the bathroom.
that finally maybe woke Tom up a little bit and be like, oh, I can't treat this guy like him that anymore. He's like a man, not just my assistant toy puppet.
Yeah, I don't agree with that.
No?
No, I think he's gonna. I think his plan was to. I mean, he was mad at Greg at that moment
Mm-hmm.
too because he was aware that Greg ratted him out to Shiv and Kendall.
Right.
So they knew that the jig was up, and that was what kind of got them together and tried to get that united front with the kids. And Greg was like, "Hey, Team Quad, I'm one of the kids now. I'm ready." And I think he thought he had an out, so he was just like, "Nope, I'm gonna stand up for myself." And I think Tom appreciated that he stood up for himself, but
Mm-hmm.
then Greg was ultimately crawling back to him. So I mean, I think Tom, one of his last things was like, "You're gonna eat shit and like it." So I don't think
Yeah.
Greg has much leverage to not. I think Tom respected what he did, his attempt,
That's
but
what, yeah, I think that's what I'm saying is like the respect level now is there that, you know,
yeah,
he doesn't see Greg as just like a worm
yeah,
anymore. I don't know. He's like, we've been through a lot. They've done a lot for each other. So yeah,
right,
you ticked me off and you did whatever, but that's probably something I would have done to you too. So,
yeah,
you're still with me.
yeah.
Um,
I'm just gonna give you a
yeah,
pay cut.
yeah, yeah, that's fine. Nice closure on their relationship though.
No, I thought they closed everybody extremely well. I loved Alexander Skarsgård this whole season. Just being the awkward this. I was listening a little bit to that podcast with him on it and just listening to his inspirations and how he went about it. And I really over the years really just kind of came to
Yeah, dude,
appreciate that dude. Just Alexander
he's
Skarsgård as a
great.
whole.
He's
He's
great.
just great.
Those
I mean,
Skarsgård brothers and the father, good
and
acting
the
fan.
father. Yeah, it's a good acting family, doing their thing. But yeah, Alexander Skarsgård's kind of gotten into this. niche of things. Who would have known the dude from True Blood?
Eric Northman.
And he was in Battleship.
You always bring up Battleship. It's like the fourth time you talked about Battleship.
I know. Oh, it was Memorial Day. I didn't watch it. I usually watch it every Memorial Day.
Blew your streak, man.
Blew my streak.
Your Memorial Day streak.
My Memorial Day streak was out. Oh well. Oh well. But yeah, this season I thought he was great, especially post Logan. Losing
Yeah.
Logan kind of was a hole, but to have Alexander come in as that foil for everybody and inspiration for others, like it just there was a nice balance, and he was just that perfect balance of likable and like swarmy, just kind
Yeah.
of like a weirdo,
Yeah.
made you
Eccentric.
uncomfortable.
Eccentric. Yeah.
He was a creep, yeah.
It was nice to just have a wild card around where he could just like shake things up, and the Roys weren't used to that. They're used to dealing with, people in suits in boardrooms, not just some guy, lounged out wearing dirty jeans and a cardigan, just like who's richer than them, basically dictating what's going to happen. That was a nice little wrinkle to this entire season. Ever since he's been on the show, it's been
Yeah,
like him interacting with Logan was interesting because they were both such high stature, but
yeah.
seeing him interact with the kids was almost funner because it's like he's looking at them as like, you're beneath me, you're like, you're
Hmm.
rich, you're only rich though because you were their Logan's kids, and
Yeah,
I'm smarter than you and I'm gonna beat you. So yeah, and he did at the end of the day, so that
yeah.
was that was a fun little thing this year.
Absolutely. Going back the last couple episodes that we didn't talk about,
Hmm.
I really do want to just talk about how awesome the election episode was.
Hmm.
The whole episode taking place during an election and seeing like the behind the scenes in air quotes of a TV coverage of an election and seeing just them make those calls and Tom putting wasabi in dude's eyes and just that everything about that episode was just amazing. I loved that episode.
Yeah, that episode was brilliant. And they kind of had to do one like that in this show before it was over because this show has been, Waystar has been so tied with politics. And it's because they're like, Fox News or CNN or MSNBC. So we
Mhm.
kind of had to do one of these, which is the biggest night of the world for a cable news corporation.
Right.
So it was interesting to see that. I liked seeing that and seeing how, the news people are under so much pressure to report things correctly and be the first one to call it. But if you call it wrong, you could be ruined. And if you're not, if you're second to call it, somebody else beat you to the punch. So it's like they're almost controlling the election in a way. And like watching that was very surreal, thinking like, is this how it really happens? Like when Trump and Biden were going against each other, were people sitting at Fox News like, we got to call it, but do we have it? Are we right? Are we first? Are we second? Like it was a very tense episode. It was like watching an Aaron Sorkin show
Yeah,
without like the confusing dialogue,
a little bit.
you know.
Yeah, I agree. It was kind of unnerving in a way, and then yeah, eye opening in a way, knowing that they, I'm sure, did
Have
their
so much,
research.
yeah, they have so much hand in actually what is being done. Like they can shape elections, these fucking media conglomerates. It's weird.
Is really weird, but it was a fun episode. It had some good comedy in there, and just Tom, like I said, watching Tom kind of run it and try to make the decision. Now, do you think Mencken became
Mhm.
president?
That's one thing I think they didn't specify. They want you to
I think
they kind of left it open ended. They said like, he may be having some trouble along the line actually verifying that election. Like they did have a little line in there saying
yeah,
the votes were found or something was with the Milwaukee burning of the votes or whatever, but
yeah, something with the Wisconsin thing where they were taking it to the courts and it wasn't looking good or something.
right.
It seemed like he like it wasn't going to work out.
Yeah, they kind of left it open for you to wonder, but they did not ever finalize that.
Okay,
So
just making
I guess.
sure. I like I said, I remember the one comment, but that was it.
Hmm.
I didn't catch anything else. Um, and then got to talk about Logan's funeral.
That's what I was. Yeah, I was hoping you
Logan's
could get to
funeral with no coffin flop.
that. We're just showing bodies falling out of coffins.
Naked bodies falling out of coffins.
I didn't do this. Um,
They got no shame because they got no souls. Yeah,
uh,
if you haven't seen Coffin Flop or watched, I think you should leave on Netflix. It is the only thing worth watching on Netflix.
just Google coffin flop and
Yeah,
you'll know what we're talking about. We kind of were waiting for Logan to be coffin flopped.
and would have been amazing. Would have been amazing.
Yeah.
Anyway, Logan's funeral, just awkward uncomfortableness at its best of just
Yeah.
being like this almost like royal funeral that he had. It was televised. It was like it was a big crazy deal. It was like,
Yeah.
you know, the Queen's funeral all over again.
Right. Like I
And
said, how the finale was kind of smaller scale. Like I said, this is like the
yeah,
polar opposite. This was huge.
yeah, and like you said, everybody was there. Everybody was
Every
trying to get
supporting
closer.
character you can
Yeah,
think of. Yep.
yeah, pretty much. It was like a reunion.
hmm
And then just yeah, the way it was there, and then of course the big thing with that is it was kind of the downfall of Roman.
Right.
You've been watching Roman since Logan died, and he's just been saying, I pre-grieved, I pre-grieved, I pre-grieved, I got this. And he was kind of rolling, and you're like, he's going to crash. And you kind of figured it was this episode, the way that they started it. And he was like, I got this. And he's practicing his eulogy, and he's like, I got this, I got this, I got this. And then he got up there to do it, and he did not have it. And you're just like, oh, it was heartbreaking watching him just completely realize and all of that grief he's been holding on for like the week since his dad died or
Yeah.
2 weeks or however long it was just come crashing down on him. It was horrible. It was so like just hard to watch.
Yeah, I think what set him off was, the speech before him, the unplanned speech by the brother,
Yeah.
Ewan, I think is his name,
Yeah.
who, said some nice things about their past, but then totally flipped it and like basically bashed his brother in death, which we would expect no less because we saw their relationship through the show very contentious.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I agree. That was a good scene that you kind of knew was going to come at some point for Roman. I was kind of surprised when he was the one who wanted to speak because we've never seen Roman
Right.
speak. It's always Kendall. It's always, well, not even Shiv. It's always Kendall
Yeah.
who gets up
Usually.
and talks in front of people. So I was like, Roman really wants to do this. We've never seen him like address a crowd ever. He's kind of just like this swarmy playboy in the back, but he wanted to step up and be the big shot. And him and Kendall are co-CEOs, and he's always aspired to like do that. And he couldn't do it. He hadn't pre-grieved like he'd been telling us this whole time. And we've always, me and you have even said he's the most sensitive one. He's this like got this exterior where he wants to be, hard to everybody, but
Mhm.
he's always the one who cared the most about what Logan thought. He's always the one who cared, the most about, yeah, exactly what Logan thought about him and his standing with his dad. So, of course, I guess this funeral is going to be where he breaks down. And that was a great scene for Kieran Culkin, probably like his best acting delivered. He's a great actor, has always done well, but I really liked that scene a lot too.
Yeah.
So that was probably the most important scene I think of that episode. Kendall's speech was pretty great too, and Shiv's. Um,
Yeah. Where they both decided to come in and neither one of them were planning on saying anything, but they both came in and improved
yeah,
something to make them like Kendall went up and kind of wowed everybody. And Shiv was like, oh shit, now I got to go say something. So she went to go try to fill in that gap and get her brownie points.
yeah. Kendall did like he's a powerful man and he shaped the world. And Kendall and Shiv kind of did the thing like, he was my dad and he, filled my heart or whatever. So they kind of both played to two different sides to try to save face. But yeah, that was a nice, everything that happened in that church was pretty good stuff.
Yeah.
I liked it.
Yeah, that episode was really good, including the mausoleum, and they're trying to figure out is that where you want to be?
All right.
Yeah,
Bunk
that was
beds.
bunk beds. Yeah, that's some good jokes. The show's hilarious as a whole. Um,
It's like a Shakespearean without using Shakespearean words. It's like a comedy and a tragedy,
yeah,
all mixed into one. And I mean, these last few episodes were more tragedy than comedy, but it's always got its comedy in there.
yeah,
But you know,
yeah. They still fit it in there. It was like I said, it was a great finale. Where does Succession? And I know we didn't talk about it or plan this out, but
Mhm.
now the show's over. we know how it started, we know how it ends. Where do you think this ultimately falls, just kind of in the shows that you really like? Would you put it in a top 10? Is it close? I mean, like I said, I know we didn't plan this question, so I'm kind of just ad-libbing it here. Just kind of curious as to where you would kind of rank this show, and or just what are your overall final thoughts, I guess, of Succession? Will
Oh
you miss
yeah.
it? Do you wish there was more? Will you watch it again at some point? Just kind of
Yeah, there's whenever I'm asked about like favorites, it's so hard because there's so many categories. There's like you got your comedies, you got your dramas, you got your whatever, and it's hard to put them all. Like, do I like Seinfeld as much as I like Breaking Bad? It's hard because they're so different. But it's up there, man. It's definitely like top 10, top 15 at worst
yeah,
of shows, I would say. The show's been good since season 1 on. I don't think there's not really where I can go. I don't remember ever watching an episode of this show and being like that was bad, you know? If you can watch an entire 4 seasons of a show and be like, "You know what? This show's always
delivered.
quality, good, and the acting's good, the script is good." So, yeah, I mean, I was entertained by it.
Did you
Got
start
some
episode one, day one,
I think I caught up on season 1.
before
So
season two?
yeah. So it was like going. I didn't like hop on immediately because I was like, "Ah, I don't know what this is. It's like a show about the business world." But then heard a couple people saying like, no, it's actually pretty good. Like you should be watching it. I was like, it's HBO. I'll give them the benefit of the doubt, even if
Yeah,
subject matter isn't something I'm super excited about. I'll give it a shot. And I was like hooked. I was like, this is so fucking good. This is like family drama, business, cutthroat
comedy.
awesomeness. Yeah, yeah. But yeah, it's definitely like I said, top 15, top at worst, maybe even top 10 of really good shows I would recommend to people. I'll probably never watch it again just because I don't rewatch shows like this, like that, like hour-long drama shows. I've seen it all. What do I need to watch it? I'll never watch Game of Thrones again either. But yeah, dude, it's up there for me. I
I've
I really enjoyed it.
Sometimes I like rewatching shows.
I know you've rewatched Breaking Bad, what, like twice or at least once?
Once I rewatched it in between during the Better Call Saul
Right.
break before they came back for their final like 5 episodes.
Yeah.
Watched all of Breaking Bad. That was a crazy like month where it was like, okay, I'm gonna watch all five, all basically caught all the way up from episode one of Better Call Saul, all the way pretty much to season six break,
Hmm.
and then during that break, watched all of Breaking Bad.
Yeah, you had a crazy little stretch there
It was it was awesome though.
of the Breaking
Um,
Bad verse.
but sometimes I like that I could just put on a show and I don't have to fully pay attention as well. This one, there's a lot, and because of the conversations, because of the density of a lot of those conversations, and me not always knowing what was happening in the episodes, I could see. You say that they didn't talk Shakespearean, but they still spoke another language for a lot of these conversations.
At
Like I didn't
times.
always know what was happening. By the end of the episode, I never felt lost. Like I always
Same.
understood what the gist was, but a lot of times throughout the episode, I'd be like, I don't know what's happening right now, but I can't stop watching.
Hmm.
But I agree with you. It's easily in the top. It depending on how you break down the rankings. Does if it's all time, yeah, it's probably a little bit higher if you're mixing genres. But if you're just looking at like the type of show that this is, the drama um,
Hmm.
type show, it's ranked high. It's just a great show. I was glad I jumped on it a little bit later. I caught up before season three,
Right.
so it kind of was a little bit slower. It took me a little bit more before I jumped on, but I'm glad I did.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
glad I did. It was a great time. Um, Something I'm gonna miss. I was getting used to this last 10 weeks of Sundays having something to watch, and now tomorrow I guess I'll watch basketball.
Right. It's just always weird when you get attached to like the characters and you're like, I'll never see them again. I don't know what's happening. Like it's over. I'll
Yeah,
I'll never have another story about the Roy family told to me again that I haven't seen.
but you never
Uh
know. We do live in the era of reboots. We did get a Justified trailer this week.
right. Well, yeah, whoever thought that would have happened. So
I wouldn't, but you know what? Speaking of favorite shows, Justified is one of my favorite shows, and I've rewatched that one too. And that show is one of my favorite shows. It was really funny, and I think we probably talked about this before, but that was on after Sons of Anarchy, and I'd watch Sons of Anarchy, and I would watch Justified, and then it got to a point where I was like, I just want to watch Justified. Like
Yeah.
somewhere in there after a couple of years, I was just like, I was more excited to watch Justified than I was. And I was watching because that was when you had to record shit on VHS,
Hmm.
and maybe DVRs were coming during that period of time. But I was watching the Justified first, and then I would go catch up on Sons of Anarchy because I loved that one. So that one coming back. So I mean, we could be up for a Succession reboot in 10 years.
Not even a reboot, but like someone else's, maybe like a Roman show. What's Roman up to? Maybe Kieran Culkin's gonna fall on hard times and need a they'll team up for something.
Yeah.
So yeah, never say never, but I doubt
Oh
it.
no, I know. I don't see it coming back, especially if we never get through this writer's strike. Nobody's coming back.
I'll tell you this though, I would be very interested in anything that Jesse Armstrong does in the future.
Yes.
I think he kind of sold me on him as a writer and showrunner, and so anything that guy has coming out and like moving forward, I'll definitely be inclined to check it out. You know
Has
what
he
I mean?
done anything else?
Uh I don't
I'm
know.
looking it up right now, but just kind of
Okay.
curious.
No, I nothing like stands out. I know usually when like you have a big show like this, they're always like, "Oh, this he did this before," like the guy from 6 Feet Under's new show or something. But
And
I
he
I
wrote,
think
yeah.
I
Yeah, a lot
think
of it's
it's
just episodes. He wrote an episode of Black Mirror, he wrote an episode of Veep,
yeah. This
um,
so I think this show is kind of what put him on the map. Like
some
his first.
show called Peep Show, which looks like it's a comedy
Okay.
something, but I've never heard of it or know how to even watch it. Yeah, a lot of it's random, so you're right. This is kind of his first.
Yeah, so like he's definitely earned his respect with me. Anything he's got coming, I'll definitely be there for. He's now put his name amongst, a guy who I'll kind of follow what they're doing. Cuz he put together a really good show, man. Just like very good from top to bottom, writing, acting, pacing, just everything about this show was fun. I never thought I'd have this much fun just watching terrible, wicked, rich people and their problems and their billionaire, millionaire problems. You know what I mean?
Right?
Like, um, but it was just fun to watch. It was like, sucked you in. So,
Yeah, it was prestige television as HBO normally is.
but I will not be watching The Idol, their next show. Sorry, I'm not interested.
No, that does not look good. Were you watching? Did you watch White House Plumbers yet?
I haven't started it.
That one looked like
Yeah.
something that I would probably enjoy. So I need to
Well,
start that,
I'm
and
a
then
big fan of
I need to
big fan of
watch True Detective.
yeah, I've been telling you that for years.
I know.
Uh, but I'm a big fan of Justin Thoreau and Woody Harrelson, so I think we were planning to get that one in.
Yeah, it's always on my list. It's just a matter of starting another show.
Yeah, too much to watch.
Too much to watch, and Chris don't like to sit still.
Yep.
So speaking of which, I think we've sat still long enough. I can move on over and sit down over here and play some Street Fighter 6 with you in a few. Uh, because Street Fighter 6 came out, and I think we're on the verge of being obsessed. So I'm sure we'll talk about Street Fighter.
We're
For
gonna
you,
take that talk offline.
we'll take that talk offline as to why we plan out who our main is going to be. But hopefully we'll be back. Well, I mean, we will be back next week. Hopefully we're talking about Spider-Verse. If not, we'll come up with something cool to talk about, but we should be back next week. Don's out on vacation. If there's anything you want to hear us talk about in the coming, hit us up over on social media, Raise the Geek across all platforms. Subscribe to our YouTube channel over on Raise the Geek, where you can see our faces and you can watch us talk as we do the show. And write us an email, raisethegeek@gmail.com. Like, subscribe, follow, all those good things. But I think that's going to do it for us this week. So for Raise the Geek, I'm Chris.
And I'm Don,
And thanks for checking out the show.
where geek is all we speak.